world charm or a sleek new construction? It's a hard choice to make. So today we're going to talk about the pros and cons of newer construction townhomes or older homes in that kind of $800,000 to $900,000 range. And then we're going to be touring two different homes, one a new construction and one an older home, to really help you figure out what might be best for you. Let's jump right in. Okay, so first we're going to talk about the pros and cons of new construction properties. So the first pro is that they're going to be lower maintenance, and generally speaking you're going to have lower upfront maintenance fees. So these homes are less lived in and you're going to have a lot less repairs, so you know that furnace is going to be good for years to come, the roof is in good condition, and overall the product is newer, so people haven't spent time in there and the things that you're purchasing haven't been used yet. So they tend to be in better condition and you won't have to pay as much to upkeep them. Also, generally speaking, the newer construction homes that we'll be looking at today don't have as much yard space. So they do have less outdoor space to maintain. Typically you'll find that these properties have more interior space and are built more vertical than out. So your yard space is going to be likely smaller, and they're also building these often with concrete rather than large grassy spaces. So overall, less maintenance. And if that's something you're looking for, then you can consider that a pro on this list. Another pro is that here in Seattle, builders often offer seller incentives. So what this means is you may be able to purchase through the builder's preferred lender a rate buy down or credit to make that upfront cost less expensive for you to purchase your home or get a lower interest rate. This is builder to builder specific, but we do see those out there often, and it ultimately comes from competition. There is quite a lot of inventory for newer construction homes, specifically townhomes in Seattle. And so you will be able to potentially find, better deals out there than some of the existing homes in really desirable single family neighborhoods. Okay, so another pro is that newer construction homes tend to be move-in ready. So you've got new appliances, usually really clean walls and floors. There's not a ton to do in terms of preparing the home for living in. If you do like modern aesthetics, you're going to like a newer construction home. And if you're going to make any minor cosmetic changes, you do have a clean slate to start. These homes don't tend to have too much character, but they're a starting point if you want to truly make the home your own. Okay, so another pro that some might like is that a lot of the newer construction homes tend to be closer to the main streets in the kind of urban suburban areas that we'll be talking about today. So you may find yourself in easy access to things like cafes, shops, etc. And again, this isn't everywhere, but you just do see, more frequently than not that main city streets in Seattle slowly develop more and more each year from, small single family homes to apartments and newer construction townhomes. So oftentimes you'll see these newer construction townhomes in nice areas that have a lot going on. The last pro is that these newer construction homes in the price range we're discussing today do tend to be more affordable per square foot. So if you're going to go with a high-end builder and build a really beautiful, large, single-family home on a large lot, that's a different story. But today we're talking about, again, that $700,000 to $900,000 price range. You'll find typically newer construction townhomes, and for the price of a single-family home, you might find that the new construction gives you a little bit more interior square footage. Again, you will lose out on the lot size, but in return you may have more interior space. Okay, so let's talk about some of the cons. So the first is you're going to have a lot less privacy typically. Not only are these homes built closer to main streets, but they are also built closer together. So you're not going to have a traditional yard and the privacy that comes along with it with these newer homes. You may have a rooftop deck, but you're likely going to share a wall or two with your neighbors. One of the other cons is that oftentimes the layouts for these properties are more compartmentalized. They have a less open floor plan. So a traditional home might have the kitchen, living, dining, a nice powder room on the main floor, and then all of the bathrooms and bedrooms upstairs. But you may find that with these newer construction homes, the first floor might have a bedroom and a bathroom or an office. The second floor will have the living and the dining. The third floor, a bedroom. They're just a lot more linear, and some people might like that, but I think overall people tend to prefer something a little bit more open. With new construction, another con is that there may be defects from the builders. So it is super common that you'll find buyers purchasing a new construction home excited to not have any problems or repairs, but then the builder has made some kind of mistake. So I will say, if the newer construction home that you're buying is brand new, as in you're the very first person to live there, having a high quality inspector do a good walkthrough is super important because the builders may have missed minor things. And, we see this happen all the time. So that, I would say, is definitely considered a con. Another con is that these homes aren't as charming as older homes. I know some people like the look and feel of older homes. They have more character. They might feel a little bit more warm. These newer construction homes don't always feel like that to some. And ultimately, I think it comes down to your taste. But I think that is a con that people tend to mention. And the last con is lack of equity potential. Now, of course, these properties are going to increase in value over time. However, when it comes to having an older home or one that could use some renovations or cosmetic repairs, you can actually build a lot of equity by doing so, and make a little bit of money along the way. Whereas with these homes where there's nothing to be done, you really don't have that opportunity. But it does ultimately depend on what your goals are with the property and if you want to do any work to begin with. So it's kind of a pro and a con versus if you want something more move-in ready versus something that you may be able to make your own, make a few changes to, and potentially gain a little bit of money from. So those are all of the pros and cons for newer construction that I can think of. And we're now going to jump into those previously lived in single-family homes. Okay, so now we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of older homes. And the first on our list is a more spacious layout. This is one of the biggest pros of purchasing an older home. Layouts are more focused on convenience and open floor plans than some of these newer construction homes. So when you walk in, you'll find a traditional dining room, living room, kitchen, likely a powder room, and then more of the bedrooms on the top floor. This also goes hand in hand with yard space. So these homes tend to have much larger yards as well, and some of the value in purchasing them is the land. Another pro is that these homes tend to have timeless character as well. With properties that are a little bit older, they can have little quirks and kind of aesthetic appeal that I know some people can appreciate. While this isn't for everyone, I do think generally people find them to be really cozy. So I will put this on the pro list. Another pro about these older homes is that they have a lot of equity potential. If you go in and do some minor renovations or cosmetic repairs, you could gain, a lot of equity in the process, and you just simply don't have that opportunity with these newer construction homes. But something definitely worth considering, especially because a lot of these single-family properties are incredibly desirable because of their land value and not just the real estate upon them. So if you can prove that real estate, you're in a really good position. In Seattle, these single-family homes, older ones specifically, they tend to be on more quiet residential streets. So this isn't always, but generally speaking, you'll find tree-lined streets, bigger yard sizes, and more of a residential feel than some of the places where newer construction townhomes are being built. So I would say that's generally a pro, depending on what you like. Another pro about an older home is that the quality of the construction tends to be really good. You can often find those that have really good bones and have stood the test of time. Construction methods nowadays, they can be really good, but there are shady builders out there. And so when you have an older home that still is in really good condition, you know that it was made with integrity. And I think if you can find that type of property, it is definitely a pro. And the last pro on the list is that you tend to have more privacy with older homes. So here in Seattle, again, the lot sizes tend to be a little bit bigger, and you do have, more space to build little trees or shrubs. But overall, they also are on quieter streets, so you just have a little bit more privacy, your own yard, etc. So now let's jump into some of the cons. So the first con is, of course, maintenance. These properties tend to have older systems, not always, but frequently they have not been updated. So you may have to purchase a new HVAC or redo some of the electrical. Whatever it may be, I definitely recommend getting a home warranty or planning for those costs when they come and making sure that you do a thorough walkthrough with your inspector to check on the ages of all of these systems that are important. Another con with these older homes is the price. So, a lot of newer construction townhomes do tend to be a little bit less expensive than these single family similar sized properties because, again, they're really desirable. There are a lot of people who want more yard space and lot sizes, so they're willing to pay that premium to have a single family home versus something more like a townhome. And if you were to purchase a new construction with a large yard, you will be paying a lot more, so it's worth prefacing. I know I have a couple times in a video, but again, we're looking at just two very similar price points and what you can find there. So generally speaking, they are more expensive if you're comparing them to a newer construction townhome. Another con is the lack of incentives. So you don't have the same builder credits that you may find with a newer construction home. These are previously owned, so people are going to be selling them individually. And another con is the upkeep. So typically these properties have larger lot sizes, so you may have to do more yard work. And the last con is these properties have a more lived-in feel. So there might be dings and scratches on the doors or minor repairs simply from somebody else having previously lived there. You won't have everything brand new for you to scratch up. But now we're going to jump into touring two different options so you can kind of see what's out there and what you might find you prefer. Our first tour of the day takes us to a charming home in Seattle's Wedgwood neighborhood. This 1951 gem offers 1,180 square feet of living space on a 5,304 square foot lot. It was listed this week for $850,000. You're welcomed by a cozy living room featuring a wood-burning fireplace and abundance of natural light. And then just off the kitchen, there's a quaint eating nook, and the kitchen itself boasts classic checkerboard flooring, such a fun, timeless touch. There's also plenty of storage, and for those looking to add value, there's definitely room for a remodel. And the utility room is located just off the kitchen, which also connects to a spacious garage. Moving into the bedrooms, you'll find two well-sized rooms with views of the backyard and original hardwood floors throughout too. This room has also been recently repainted, giving it a fresh feel. They also share a bathroom that completes the main level. And then moving upstairs, there's a delightful bonus space brimming with character. Whether you're in need of a home office, guest room, or creative retreat, there's lots of possibilities up here. And now for the real showstopper, the backyard. It has plenty of green space and a lovely brick back patio, honestly offering the perfect private getaway in Seattle. Our second stop today is this recently built 2025 townhome in Maple Leaf, listed at $819,000 just last week. It's set on a 2,320 square foot lot and offers two spacious bedrooms and 2.5 baths. What really stands out to me is the layout. Unlike many new construction homes that can feel disjointed, this one is a great deal with an open, flowing design that feels more like a single-family home. The spacious backyard is another highlight, completed with fresh grass and landscaping. And then inside the lower level also has a powder room and garage. And then moving upstairs, you'll find a lovely and spacious guest bedroom along with a primary suite that boasts plenty of natural light and a generous sized bathroom as well as a walk-in closet. So what do you prefer? A newer construction townhome with little maintenance, or a charming craftsman with a little bit of character and a little more maintenance that goes along with it? Ultimately, it's up to your styles, your preferences, and what you really want in a real estate investment. But if you're interested in learning more, we should connect. I'm a local real estate broker here in Seattle. My name is Madison Arthur, and all of my information is linked down below. I help buyers and sellers all throughout the region, and I thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you a great rest of your day.